Hello everyone, and welcome back to another game of Titanfall. This time we are playing on Lagoon, and today I wanted to talk about the streaming that I know in the last episode I was talking about how I wanted to start streaming again now that I've got voice especially working, and so today is Sunday the 7th of June, and yesterday on the 6th I did said first stream. I streamed Titanfall. Didn't get a lot of viewers, but I mean, I couldn't expect a lot anyway. The max I got was 3 at one point, and I think one of them was my friend. But yeah, that's one. I mean, I like the in-game streaming that Twitch offers on Xbox, but it makes it really difficult. It makes it really difficult not being able to see the chat, and for whatever reason, it does. Like when I try to have my page open at the same time as as when I'm streaming on the Xbox, the Xbox gets real laggy. I don't know why that is. And also I wanted to it's hard finding something to talk about when you don't have an active chat. I feel like the chat helps you engage with your viewers a lot better by answering questions and stuff like that. Whereas when you're just by yourself, I mean, it's like, what do you talk about? I mean, how do you keep the viewer engaged in your content, which is part of the reason why I did a Titanfall instead of some of the stuff I did in my test streams, which was Assassin's Creed, and then before that I tested the sound with once I got the sound working, I tested that in Neverwinter, but they're not the most engaging, especially if you don't have an active conversation or topic to talk about. So that's exactly why I chose Titanfall, and I've had a few, not many, but a few people asking to see more Titanfall, which makes me really happy because I love this game. This is the only, as I've mentioned before, this is the only first-person shooter that I really enjoy just to play for the sake of playing. I do not enjoy Call of Duty. I do not. Halo is sort of hit or miss. It depends on whether I've got friends in there playing with me as a group, because I refuse to play Halo by myself, because by myself it is not that enjoyable. You get teammates that run around with their head chopped off. And that's typical of any first-person shooter or just any sort of game that requires some semblance of teamwork. Is just randoms. Randoms suck. Majority of the time, randoms suck. That's right now, we're losing in this match, but I still have fun with it because I genuinely enjoy the game. One of the main things that I dislike about the first-person shooters is usually they're so close quarter, and a lot of times it's like there's no freedom of movement. You're always just so confined, and I always find myself getting stuck on the smallest, tiniest little objects that have mass on the ground in those things, and I'll just get stuck on them, and then it's like, what do I do? And then I get killed, and then I get frustrated. but in this, there's such, and that's the one thing why I can tolerate, why Halo was more tolerable, is because you could jump in those games. Like Call of Duty, and I mean, I guess you can now with the exosuits and whatnot in Advanced Warfare, but I haven't played it, so I wouldn't know. You know, but they didn't. And honestly, I think that they were taking at least a little bit off of this game with the freedom of movement. But it doesn't... I just didn't feel like it flowed all that great. And it was hampering. Halo, at least you could jump, so I would get stuck. I would get stuck sometimes on various objects, just like in COD, so... But here, I never find myself just getting... I mean, maybe occasionally, but for the most part, I never just get stuck on a thing to the point where I just can't do what I want to do, and getting myself killed because of it. And that's pretty much the most major factor of this game, and that I like about it. I also enjoy the burn card system, where it's like there's in the COD games especially, there's always that thing, that one weapon that everybody uses because it's so overpowered and so broken and whatever. Whereas in this game, there's just, you know, pretty much one weapon of each type, except for pistols. But even so, the pistols, there's only, you know, what is it, 3 pistols. One's one's semi-auto, one is auto, and then the other is, you know, just like a revolver. That's just 3 types. They keep it very simple. And then, like they don't overdo it. I feel COD has gotten so much into just packing in so many weapons into a game that's multiplayer, that everybody's just gonna use the best weapon setup anyway. So then it just becomes, what's the point of all those weapons? They're just stepping stones until you get to a high enough level to use those better weapons, and then you never use them again, unless you prestige. But I never do. So that's what's so nice about they keep things simple at a base level. And then if you want to go more advanced, that's what the burn cards are for, and they're one use only, so it's not like you have an overpowered thing forever, and they run out when, and that said burn card goes out when you die. You can only use 3 per match. I feel this game is one of the most balanced games, first-person shooter stuff out there. Now, that being said, the story is non-existent, which was followed up by Destiny basically doing the same thing. I mean, you know, just multiplayer with, like, little story elements in the background, not an actual story, which I believe they're fixing for Titanfall 2, which makes me very happy. But then again, I didn't buy this game for I don't buy first-person shooters for story. I mean, I've never played through a COD story ever. The only first-person shooter that I've played through this story of in particular has been the Halo series. And so I am happy that this is going to get a story, because I do enjoy the game, and it looks like things are wrapping up. But I didn't like the fact that, I didn't remember dying there. That stinks. Oh, they blew up the dropship. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for this episode. I'd like to thank you all for watching. See you and good night.